protect
Yeah,
communities.
Mayor Holt, obviously Oklahoma is not California, Oklahoma City is not San Diego, but how is this playing out in your community?
Well, probably the hottest issue in my city over the last couple of weeks was ICE and DHS looking at acquiring a warehouse that they were going to open a detention center at. And so this was sort of pretty top of mind for me and my community just in these recent days. So even as we're having these conversations about the national situation in Minneapolis, I'm almost constantly—
All politics is local.
Yeah, I'm almost constantly following what's going on back home and working on it. And actually, we were able to at least resolve that particular site. The owner of the warehouse has ended the conversation with DHS.
And you
about
came
that
out in
facility.
support of that. You think it's the right
right.
move not to allow DHS
this
to
is—
open that facility?
Right, because I mean, in our case, and both of the things you've just asked us about get back to a bedrock principle of American law that is probably worth mentioning here, and that is the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution. So it means that his officers aren't going to be able to arrest ICE agents. It means that my planning commission is never going to see an application from DHS for the detention center, no matter where it is. Literally, no matter where it is. We put it right next to a school, right? They will never ask for our permission for a building permit or a zoning approval. This is very complicating for us because people think that the city government should have some sort of mastery over the affairs within its borders. And we don't when it comes to the federal government, whether it's law enforcement actions or whether it's land use. And so my view, of course, is still, I believe in the rule of law. I understand the Constitution and I respect it. But especially on a land use question, to me, that's kind of apolitical because you could be for all kinds of things in principle, but you don't think necessarily that they should happen right here. I really like the steakhouse that you had that meal at. I don't think it should operate in my backyard, right? There's a time and a place for everything. And this detention center should receive the type of local approval process and public discussion that all land use does. I understand why it won't, but at least now we have stopped this and we can continue to maybe communicate to our property owners in Oklahoma City that doing this type of transaction with the federal government will mean that there won't be any public process around this, and that's not the way things should work on a land use question and a high impact use, especially like a detention center. I mean, that's one of the highest impact uses that exists in the zoning code, right? So I hope that I understand that federal government operations have to exist, but if they're going to put a high impact use in an urbanized area like Oklahoma City, they really need to think twice. There are other options.
I mean, overall,